Greetings from Gospel Ministries International here in McDonald, Tennessee. I'm in our little GMI cafe here with a real missionary family. This is the Griesert's family, and let me introduce you to them. We have Nathaniel and his wife Kendra, and three cute little girls here. I'm going to let them say what their names are. What's your name?
Elsie.
Elsie. Okay, and what's
And Kenzie.
Yeah.
And Daddy.
And what's your name?
Emmy.
Emmy. Okay, and what's your name?
Kenzie.
Kenzie. Okay. They all end in E.
Yeah.
Let me ask you first, where you are currently doing your mission work.
Right now we're working in Belize with a school called MOVE. It's a missionary training school. And over this last year working with MOVE, we've worked in Colombia and we've worked in Belize.
Okay, and that's with Jeff Sutton?
That's right.
Organization?
That's right. Jeff Sutton and Jeff and Fauna and Kayla. Yeah.
I see. Kendra, I think you have your hands full already with three girls.
We're ready.
And you're doing homeschooling as well?
Yes, for my oldest daughter, we do homeschool.
Okay,
so,
are you in homeschool?
No.
Not yet? Oh, but you will be, right? Okay, do you girls participate in any of the mission work? What do you do?
We help out when we go visiting, and
You visit in the community?
yeah, and when we went on our mission trip, I was telling children's stories, and yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
You did kind of like helped out with a little vacation Bible school, and you helped tell children's stories with felts, right?
Yeah.
And you also help sometimes work on the farm and do some weeding and whatever jobs need to be done, and you help sing in the choir too. Yeah.
Do you help in the garden?
Yes.
Yeah, you help in the garden? You pull weeds? You pull weeds?
Yeah, we do. We're ready.
You're ready? Okay. So Nathaniel, what do you teach at MOVE?
So I teach the mechanics class there. At MOVE, we teach some very practical skills to the students. It's like a missionary boot camp as the students go through. And
So you're training people to be missionaries, right?
That's right. That's right. Predominantly young people who feel a calling to mission work. And what they do is they spend 3 months there in Belize learning some skills, and then they have committed to spend 6 months at a project that's established and ongoing.
I see. And so what do you teach, the mechanics?
I teach the mechanics class.
Okay, and what's your background that gives you that skill?
So I actually was an engineer for a number of years, and I recently became an A&P mechanic. That's a mechanic certified to work on aircraft, and also a pilot. And so the mechanic skills, I would say, come from just growing up, working on cars, working on things, and then some of the education I've had on working on airplanes. I've used that to share with the students some skills that will help them.
Are they fixing cars or small engines or what?
A lot of the things that they work on are small engines. You know, in the mission field, having things like a chainsaw, weed eaters, lawnmowers, some projects will have tractors and things like that. It's really good to have someone around that can fix those and maintain them, of course. And that's a big part of what we teach them, is how to maintain them so that they don't have to do quite as much fixing. But and you know what's interesting? You can actually reach out to people in the communities. One of the things that's appealing to some of the men in the community is to bring out their broken weed eaters, their broken mowers, and we offer to fix them. And that gives us an opportunity to get to know them and to reach out to them and have an opportunity to share the gospel as well.
I see. And they get some kind of training in public speaking as well, or some?
They get a training in evangelism. They do Bible studies, they do small group studies, and they do sermons as well.
I see. And you participate in that?
Yes, I've been involved in helping to do some of the evangelistic series at different churches, and the staff provide evaluations for the students, give them feedback on the things that went well and areas that it can work on and grow in.
And you mentioned Colombia. Do you know Spanish? Are you learning Spanish?
We're all actually learning Spanish right now. In Colombia, the 6 months we were there was a good opportunity for us to start learning.
Okay, six months. So, can you say anything in Spanish? Or have you forgotten it? You can speak Spanish? Oh, okay, and you too?
And Daddy.
Okay, well, let's back up a little bit, and I always love to hear how God leads people into mission work. So I'm kind of curious, did you always want to be a missionary, or did the Lord put that in your heart later in life? Or
You know, I think for us, as far as full-time missions, that was something that came on later in life. We had the opportunity, both Kendra and I, to work in doing short-term mission work. And the things that we saw God doing when we went out and we helped build churches, when we helped build schools, we had an opportunity in 2014 to go and help build some classrooms and administration building at Move. We just saw how God was working through the people who had dedicated their lives to serving in the mission field. And it started to get us to think more about what would it look like to get involved more than just on a part-time basis, but on a full-time basis. And that was something that we were praying for quite a few years.
I see. So when did you make that decision to go full-time?
So in 2019, in July, is when we stepped away from life as it was before into a life of being committed to doing full-time mission work.
I see. And Kendra, was that a struggle for you? Were you on board from the start?
I was on board originally when in 2014 when we went down to the Move campus. We had Kenzie, and she was 22 months old, and my initial response is said, no, I'm not going on a mission trip to somewhere that I don't know and take my young child. But Nat was praying about that, and he prayed that if it was God's will, that he'd open my heart, and I was able to talk to Fauna Sutton, who has been a missionary for a long time and we work with down in Belize, and she answered my questions and made me feel more comfortable about what it was like there, and that they had their own children and they did just fine there. So that was my initial hesitancy, but then in 2019 when we decided, okay, let's go for this, I was totally on board and said, you know, whatever God wants us to do, I'm willing to do.
Okay, wow, that's great. I guess Colombia was a little different when going into a place where you don't know the language.
Right.
So that was an additional step out of your comfort zone.
Right. Well, initially we didn't know we were going to Colombia. We thought we were going to Belize, but because of the pandemic, Belize wasn't open to basically work visas and things of that nature, so it was closed at that point. However, Colombia was, and so it was pretty last minute, and our initial was like, oh, this is new, but we knew that God was leading us. We had just moved out of our house that we were staying in Michigan, and we were on our way down here to Tennessee, and we found out we were going to Colombia. So we knew that God was going to lead us whatever happened, and you know, not speaking Spanish really wasn't a problem. It was a good environment to learn and grow in. I was more concerned about, you know, my girls' safety and, you know, them getting lost in the marketplace or, you know, out in the woods or something. But God protected them the whole time, and they were safe, and it was a really positive experience. We're really glad that we got to spend 6 months there. We never expected that we'd find ourselves in Colombia, South America. So we felt blessed and privileged to get to have that opportunity.
Great, that's awesome. So what does the future hold?
Well, we're really enjoying working with Move. We love to see the impact that's making on the lives of young people and the communities that they work in. So at least for the next year, our plans are to be there. There's a new training session starting up in February, and we'll be heading down there for that. And there'll be another training session in the fall that we'll be involved with.
I see. And what do you do in between sessions? Is it repair work and all and preparation?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I did training for being able to work on airplanes. I am also a pilot. There is work to do up here on aircraft that are serving different missions. So I'm involved with Jeff. We usually are doing some maintenance and also looking at, there are other projects that we're trying to help out and do logistics for while we're up here. So there's always plenty to do, and that's one of the things I really love about mission work, is there's a lot of needs, there's a lot of opportunities to apply skills in different areas, and there's always opportunities to grow because there's always new things to learn.
Great. So we might even get to see you next summer.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
We're looking forward to it.
Sounds great. Well, I want to thank you for visiting us, coming by, and taking this opportunity to share with our viewers all of what's going on. And we hope that you've been blessed.